The year is 554 AD. The world is in turmoil, and the Italian peninsula, once the heart of the mighty Roman Empire, is now a land scarred by decades of war and invasion. As the first rays of sunlight break over the rolling hills and ancient villages, a sense of anticipation hangs heavy in the air. This is not just another day, it is the dawn of a battle that will decide the fate of Italy itself. The fields of southern Italy, lush and green yet marked by the scars of conflict, are set for a clash of titans. Here, armies will meet in a struggle that echoes the great wars of the past, with the future of an entire region hanging in the balance. On one side stands the formidable Eastern Roman Empire, also known as the Byzantines. Their ranks are filled with seasoned soldiers, veterans of countless campaigns, all united under the banner of Emperor Justinian. At their head is the legendary General Narses, a man whose reputation for cunning and tactical brilliance is known throughout the empire. Narses, though advanced in years, is far from frail. His mind is sharp, his resolve unbreakable. He has spent a lifetime mastering the art of war, and now in the twilight of his career, he is determined to reclaim Italy for his emperor. Every move he makes is calculated, every order precise. For Narses, this campaign is not just about territory, it is about restoring the glory of Rome. Opposing the Romans are the Franks and Alemanni, fierce Germanic tribes whose names inspire fear across Europe. Their leaders, the brothers Butulinus and Lotharis, are warriors of great renown, commanding the loyalty of thousands. These tribes have swept down from the north, driven by hunger for land, wealth, and the thrill of conquest. The Germanic warriors are relentless, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Villages have been burned, families displaced, and the countryside ravaged. For them, Italy is a prize to be seized, its riches ripe for the taking. Their reputation for brutality precedes them, and their enemies know that mercy is not a word in their vocabulary. In stark contrast, the Roman soldiers represent order and discipline. Clad in gleaming armor, they march in perfect formation, their faces set with grim determination. They fight not just for themselves, but for the idea of Rome, a civilization built on law, culture, and stability. Their mission is clear: to restore peace to a land torn apart by chaos. The Franks, on the other hand, embody the spirit of chaos. Their warriors charge into battle with wild abandon, driven by dreams of glory and the promise of spoils. Each man fights for his own honor, his own share of the loot, and their ferocity on the battlefield is matched only by their thirst for victory. The stage is set near the Volturnus River at Casilinum, a strategic crossing point that has witnessed the march of armies for centuries. Here, the fate of Italy will be decided. The river itself, calm and unassuming, will soon bear silent witness to the clash of civilizations. The Romans, though weary from years of relentless warfare, are fueled by a deep sense of duty. Around their campfires, they share stories of home and dreams of peace. But their eyes betray the weight of what lies ahead. They know that this battle could be their last, yet they are resolved to stand firm, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, the Franks celebrate their recent victories with feasting and boasts. Their leaders, Butulinus and Lotharis, are confident, perhaps too confident. They believe the Romans are spent, their spirit broken. But in their arrogance, they fail to see the danger that Narses represents. Narses, ever the strategist, studies his maps late into the night. He knows that brute strength alone will not win this battle. It will be a contest of wits, a test of patience and cunning. As dawn approaches, both armies prepare for the coming storm, unaware that the decisions made today will echo through history for centuries to come. To grasp this battle's importance, consider Italy's state. Torn by the Gothic War, Justinian sought to reclaim lost lands. General Belisarius fought the Ostrogoths, leaving Italy desolate. Famine and plague ravaged the land, reducing it to a shadow. The Franks saw opportunity in chaos, aiming to seize Italy. Narses defeated the Ostrogoths, hoping for peace, but the Frankish invasion shattered those hopes. Narses had to rally his weary army once more. The Gothic War ended, but Italy's fate hung in the balance. In the year 553 AD, a new and terrifying chapter in the history of Italy began to unfold. The Frankish invasion, a campaign that would leave scars across the land, was set in motion. The Franks, a fierce and ambitious people from beyond the Alps, had long watched the turmoil in Italy with hungry eyes. Now, sensing opportunity amidst the chaos, they prepared to strike with overwhelming force. Led by the formidable generals Butulinus and Lutharus, the Frankish host numbered an astonishing 75,000 warriors. With grim determination, they crossed the treacherous Alpine passes, braving snow, ice, and the ever-present threat of ambush. Their journey was not just a military maneuver, it was a statement of intent, a declaration that the Franks would stop at nothing to seize the riches and glory of Italy for themselves. Once across the mountains, the Frankish army split into two massive columns, each carving a path of devastation through the Italian countryside. Villages were plundered, homes ransacked, and the local population left in terror. The Franks showed little mercy, taking whatever they desired and leaving ruin in their wake. Unlike the Goths, who had at times tried to preserve elements of Roman civilization, the Franks seemed intent on erasing it. Their campaign was not just about conquest, it was about destruction. Roman towns and monuments, symbols of a once great empire, were targeted and defiled. Their path became synonymous with horror. Farms were set ablaze, crops destroyed, and entire communities uprooted. The Frankish warriors looted relentlessly, taking food, valuables, and even people as spoils of war. The Italian summer sun beat down mercilessly, intensifying the suffering of both invaders and victims. But the destruction they wrought soon turned against them. The relentless heat, combined with the scarcity of supplies caused by their own pillaging, began to sap the strength of the Frankish army. Disease spread rapidly among the ranks, and morale plummeted as the cost of their campaign became clear. Weakened and demoralized, Lutharus made the difficult decision to turn back, hoping to save what remained of his men. But fate was not kind. He died before ever reaching his homeland, a victim of the very devastation he had helped unleash. Yet Butulinus, driven by ambition and perhaps desperation, refused to retreat. He pressed onward, leading his battered forces deeper into Italy, determined to achieve total conquest despite the mounting odds. Finally, Butulinus established his camp near the ruins of Capua, a strategic position on the plains by the river. Here, he awaited the arrival of the Byzantine general Narses, knowing that a final, fateful battle was imminent, one that would decide the future of Italy itself. As battle loomed, the army's differences were stark. The Franks, a force of raw power, relied on infantry and axes. Their tactic, a massive wedge charge, hoping to break the enemy. The Romans, led by Narses, were smaller but more flexible. Narses had a mix of infantry, horse archers, and heavy cavalry. The Frankish army, plagued by disease, needed a quick victory. The Romans faced internal issues with mutinous Heruli soldiers. Narses had to rely on strategy to overcome these challenges. Narses, a brilliant tactician, chose the battlefield wisely. He arranged his troops in a crescent shape, luring the Franks in. The Roman center, reinforced by dismounted cavalry, was the anchor. Horse archers on the wings created a deadly crossfire. Butulinus, seeing a weak center, charged with his army. Narses had a hidden cavalry reserve, ready to ambush. The stage was set for a classic Roman trap. The battle began as Narses planned. The Frankish wedge charged, aiming for the Roman center. The Roman infantry held firm despite immense pressure. The Franks, surrounded, faced relentless arrow fire. The Heruli, seeing the danger, joined the battle. Narses signaled his hidden cavalry to attack from behind. The Franks trapped, panicked, and were systematically destroyed. Butulinus was killed, and the Frankish army dissolved. Narses' tactics secured a stunning Roman victory. The victory at Volturnus was absolute. The Frankish threat was annihilated, securing Italy for Rome. Peace returned, and Narses began reconstruction. The Pragmatic Sanction restored Roman law in 554. Narses repaired infrastructure, hoping to revive Rome's glory. Italy was once again a Roman province. However, the restoration was fragile and short-lived. The empire, exhausted, lacked resources to secure peace. In 568, the Lombards invaded, ending Roman control. The brief Roman dawn faded as new powers rose. The Battle of Volturnus stands as a defining moment in the long and storied history of Rome. It was not just another clash of armies, but the last great victory for the Roman Empire in the West, a final, desperate assertion of Roman power and tradition in a world that was rapidly changing. As the sun set over the blood-soaked fields, The echoes of centuries of Roman dominance seemed to fade into the mist, marking the end of an era that had shaped the Western world. This battle signified the conclusion of traditional Roman warfare, the kind that had once conquered vast territories and inspired fear across continents. The disciplined legions, the gleaming armor, the thunderous march of soldiers in perfect formation, these hallmarks of Roman might were on display for the last time. After Volturnus, the very nature of the Roman army and its methods would be forever altered, as new threats and new realities forced change upon the ancient institution. The brilliant tactics employed by Narses, the Byzantine general, were reminiscent of Rome's greatest commanders, Julius Caesar, Scipio Africanus, and Trajan. Narses drew upon the wisdom of the past, orchestrating maneuvers that outwitted his enemies and brought victory against overwhelming odds. His leadership at Volturnus was a tribute to the strategic genius that had once made Rome invincible. Yet, in the aftermath of Volturnus, the role of the Roman army changed forever. No longer the unchallenged masters of the battlefield, Roman soldiers found themselves replaced by mercenaries and barbarian auxiliaries. The proud legions that had once marched from Britain to the Middle East were now a memory, their traditions fading as new powers rose. The dream of a unified Roman Empire, so passionately pursued by Emperor Justinian, died with him. His vision of restoring Rome's former glory was shattered, leaving only ruins and fading banners as reminders of what once was. The world Justinian hoped to rebuild was gone, replaced by uncertainty and fragmentation. The Lombard invasion that followed Volturnus exposed the empire's vulnerability. The once mighty Roman defenses crumbled before the relentless advance of these new invaders. The empire's weakened state was laid bare for all to see, as Italy fell into the hands of foreign conquerors. With the end of this battle, an entire era came to a close. The ancient world of Rome gave way to the medieval kingdoms that would shape the future of Europe. New rulers, new cultures, and new ideas emerged from the ashes of the empire, forever altering the course of history. The victory at Volturnus was a final shining testament to the military prowess that had defined Rome for centuries. It was a moment of triumph, a reminder of the discipline, courage, and ingenuity that had built an empire. But ultimately, it was a magnificent end, not a new beginning. The glory of Rome's armies faded into legend, leaving behind only memories and relics scattered across the Italian landscape. Today, historians look back on the Battle of Volturnus as Rome's last stand in its birthplace, a poignant chapter in the story of an empire that once ruled the world, now remembered through the ruins and the echoes of its final heroic stand.